My name is Brent. I'm from Glendora, California. I actually had a weight training issue in my neck. I was lifting, I heard something pull, and then immediately afterwards when I went home, I went to go swallow food and actually choked on it a little bit. And I noticed that my muscles that my throat uses to kind of pull down the food, they weren't strong anymore. I felt something pop in the left side of my neck and I knew something was kind of wrong. So really the main issue for me was swallowing food was really, really difficult. I mean, I had to use like a food processor sometimes and just eat in really tiny bites and couldn't eat steak or anything that was hard to swallow. So that was a really tough thing to go through for almost 2 years. I went to an ear, nose, and throat specialist in Arcadia, I think it was, and they even put me under. I did an upper endoscopy, so they stuck a tube down my throat and tried to see, the damage and what was going on, and had no luck diagnosing the problem. And they just said that if the problem persisted, to come back and pay them a lot more money to maybe go under again and try and diagnose the problem. But really, there was nothing that they could see, but I knew that, internally something was really wrong. My mom has been coming here and getting NUCCA treatment for, I think, many, many years. I think almost 10, if I'm not mistaken. She's actually told me about it over the course of many, many years, but, I was young and growing up and doing sports, I didn't really think much of it until I had the injury. And then she told me this little tiny sliver of a bone in the top of your neck called the Atlas, basically is the fulcrum point to everything. It leads all the way up and all the way down. It was kind of hard to believe, but I was so desperate I thought I'd just kind of give it a shot. And so I came in and had my first adjustment and was a believer pretty much instantly. After my first correction, I didn't know. I mean, they had me laying, you guys had me laying on the side of the table, and it barely felt like any pressure, so I couldn't imagine, anything actually happened. And then I got up and got a little bit dizzy. I was kind of like off my balance a little bit because my hips originally when I came in were out of line and one leg was shorter than the other. And when I stood up, I was aligned and like my equilibrium was off because I didn't, I hadn't been used to my hips being level probably ever. So it was a crazy experience. And then I just also felt my whole body, my muscles and my structure just kind of relaxed too. And since I've been getting consistent adjustments for some months now, it's been a lot easier. I felt the strength of my muscles in my throat come back, and also just the awareness factor too. I know exactly when I slip out of alignment, I get certain symptoms back, like my lower back will start hurting. It gets harder to swallow food for me, and so I know that I can just come back into Atlas and get an adjustment, and it's an easy fix. And then, every time I come in here and get an adjustment, I go a longer period of time without having those symptoms. So it's been incredible. I would tell others, number one, give it a shot. It's not super mainstream yet, and so it takes a little bit of faith to walk in and do something like this that's a little bit less known. But I would say definitely give it a shot, and also secondly, be patient because it takes a while for your body to kind of find its rhythm. And I had periods of time where I was coming in and I was holding really well, and other times where I needed an adjustment, almost every time I came in. But it's a marathon, and so I would say, trust the process, be patient, and just give it a shot. My name is Brent. Thank you, Atlas Braine and Spine. You've improved the quality of my life tremendously, and I would recommend Atlas to anybody.